All right, let's go. Thanks everyone for joining us for the storage meetup. Those that actually had the actual real link. Oops, still got to figure out how that happened, but we'll figure it out. So you guys figured it out. You're here. So appreciate it, you guys taking the time out of your each week coming on these. I know a lot of you very consistent, so that it means a lot. You take the time out. So hopefully that means you're getting value out of these sessions. Some weeks we have a pretty hard focus on what we're talking about today. A little more laid back session. So if you have any questions, comments, things you want to bring up to the group, great. Put it in chat, and then we can bring you up to chat about it. I definitely want to start off today with we're going to do this for the next, I think, next 4 weeks are kind of booked out this way. First, 10, 15 minutes or so, do like a show and tell. So any vendors that are on here, you want to showcase something, I put the link in chat earlier. Go ahead, book a time. You'll see that on the link. It's kind of first come, first serve kind of a deal. Main point is got to be valuable, got to bring value to the group, and something we can see. Hence the show and tell. So let's just, for sake of time, let's just jump right into it here. Where are you at, Camille? I'm looking.
Right here.
Here.
Hello.
Perfect. Let me spotlight you here so we can get you
Okay.
on top.
I'll start sharing my screen too. Let's
Oh,
see.
even better.
And let me know if you guys can see my screen. Hopefully you can.
Yep.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for allowing me to have a little bit of spotlight this week.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know me, my name is Camille Broom. I'm a business development manager with Pack Planet Self Storage Management. Pack Planet is a third-party management firm based out of Norfolk, Virginia. You may know us by our parent company name, the Nicholson Companies, or by our previous name, 4A Self Storage Management Group. We just recently rebranded to better reflect our forward-thinking approach and commitment to innovation. We've actually been in the industry for over 50 years since our founder developed the first self-storage facility in the state of Virginia back in the 70s. And we've been helping with development and management for other owners and operators ever since. Over the past 10 years or so, we've developed a suite of services and softwares in-house to be used solely by our management accounts. These include things like our customer goods protection program, Noah Web, which is our customer-facing website platform, My Kiosk, our virtual kiosks, Access Plus, our digital wallet pass, Marketing Pro, our marketing services, and Call Connect, which is our in-house call center services. Just name a few here. These are all supported on the back end by our proprietary software that integrates with SiteLink and StoreEdge called NOAA, which stands for Nicholson Operations and Analytics. We're now offering many of these once exclusive tools and services to other operators as standalone products so they can have the dynamic tools the big guys have at an affordable cost. Today, I was hoping to talk about an exciting one that we're releasing, which is called Revenue Pro. And this integrates with any SiteLink or StoreEdge user. It's a full revenue management suite. It may seem new to you, but we've actually internally used it for over 50 facilities for the past several years. So it is tried and true tested, and we're pretty confident that anyone out there can use it if they're tired of guessing and tinkering with their management software with their rates and specials. So I wanted to start with just a brief overview of what Revenue Pro is and does. Revenue Pro is going to be a reactive revenue management model. And what this means is that we react to real-time changes in rentable occupancy of each unit type and size class to increase or decrease your front-end rates and specials. NOAA will subtract units that are not currently available, such as unrentable, reserved, and pre-rented units, since these can greatly skew your occupancy statistics and cause rates to push down when the number of units you actually have available is less. And this is all going to be in real time. It's automated changes. You don't need to go in and approve the changes for it to go into effect. You set up the parameters that you want Revenue Pro to work within, such as a maximum and minimum percentage to allow it to push, and it'll make that adjustment and shoot directly to your facility management software and website. Virtually every aspect of Revenue Pro is customizable to your liking beyond what your facility management software allows. But you also have various templates that you can select from for ease of use, and the one you choose is going to depend whether you're focusing more on maximizing revenue or increasing your occupancy, or a healthy mix of both. And there's five main components that we feel any good revenue management software should offer, and this is what Revenue Pro offers. First one is value pricing. Internally, you might see the word QV rates. That stands for quality value, same as value pricing, and this is rating your units on how desirable they are and making pricing adjustments accordingly. The second one is going to be push rates and dynamic specials. This goes back to using your rentable occupancy and doing reactive revenue management, but you will have some further customizations in those areas that I'll show you today. Third up, we have existing tenant rate management. These are your customizable options for how you want to handle rental rate increases. Fourth, you have triggered monitoring alerts. So you receive fully customizable triggered alerts that monitor for unexpected changes or trends in areas like revenue, occupancy, and delinquency. So you're always going to be in the know about what's out of line at your facility without having to constantly dive in and find it yourself. And last, you have reports and dashboards. So you're going to receive access to multiple reports and dashboards to see your facility's performance and growth, with options to request custom ones be created for you by our in-house support and development team. So let's talk about the first component, which is the value pricing. So initially, when you sign up for Revenue Pro, we ask you to start assigning attributes to all of your units. We'll upload all your units from your facility management software. We'll ask you to go through and mark what attributes every single unit on your property has. You only have to do this one time because that typically doesn't change. There's going to be quite a few attributes that we're going to ask you to look at. So everything from, is there an individual door alarm in the unit? Positive attributes, is it humidity controlled? Of course, if it's close to a door, all the way down to a negative attribute like proximity challenge. Is it far from a door? Does it have an exterior obstruction like a keypad in front of it, or an interior obstruction like a pole in the unit? And once each unit has been marked for all of these, it'll come up with an overall score. So you'll see here you have the point value score. So if it has like a -3 overall score, we're going to decrease that rate -10%, all the way up to like a positive score of 6, we'll increase the rate 20%. And this is ultimately going to be setting a new standard rate for each unit. And the way that this translates to your website is going to be in a good, better, and best model, assuming that your website currently supports that like ours does here. There's multiple benefits to doing it this way. First, you have better description of what exact unit the customers are receiving. I can tell you, I actually used to be a remote manager, and you just love when a customer goes to the unit and figures out that there's a pole in the unit, or it's not, there's a lip in front of the door, they can't get their car inside. So instead, you have some more attributes on here to show what exact type of unit the customer is getting and why that's priced differently. You have more appeal towards the customers that are price sensitive or picky. So if they're looking for the lowest price unit, they can choose that, or they can have the best if that's what they're looking for. And then
Camille,
yeah.
is that configurable with you guys, or is that configurable with the website team?
So
the descriptions.
This is with our website. So we do also have Noah Web. That's a product that we provide if you're interested in using our website that directly integrates with Revenue Pro. Revenue Pro directly integrates with your facility management software, and then your website provider if you're using a different website provider. So say if you're using like Storage Pug or one of the other ones, if they don't support those custom attributes coming from your facility managed software, that's going to be up to them and how they integrate with your facility management software. We feed that into SiteLink or Storage, but how your website translate it is up to them.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. And then for you on the backside, you hopefully increase revenue on your most desirable units here. And then your goal is to increase the occupancy on those less desirable units. So moving on to the second component of Revenue Pro, which is push rates and the dynamic specials, you're going to have multiple templates to choose from depending on whether you value increasing revenue, occupancy, or that healthy mix of both. So for example, down here, all down extreme would mean that you are focused on building your occupancy right now. Maybe you're in the fill-up stage, so you want to push your rates all down right now. Then you have some, healthy mixes in the middle here, all the way up to all up extreme, where you're at a high occupancy and you're just focused on increasing your revenue, so you're pushing rates up. Down here is just an example of like the middle of the road standard template. It breaks it up by different times of the year. So you have off-peak season, and standard season. And of course, you have your bands. So this is unit type and size bands, so not your overall occupancy. If it's 95 to 100% a particular unit, we're pushing up 10%. If it continues to stay at high occupancy, we're going to go even higher at 12% and so on. And then if it's at a low occupancy, so say 70 to 79.9%, we're pushing that down, -18%, continues to stay at a low occupancy, we're pushing it down farther, hoping to get it to another band. And then you got peak season where we're actually increasing those amounts because we have high demand. So we're going to go up to 25% and so on.
I like the layout of that.
Yeah, it's really nice. And it's really easy to compare these. So when you're in Revenue Pro, all of these different templates that you have here, you can put side by side and compare and be like, okay, this is the one I want to go with.
Camille, can you mix and match between the plans as well?
What was that?
Can you mix and match between the plans for different sizes?
Kind of. So that's actually here. You can actually adjust the templates by like different times of the year and days.
Okay.
So, if you find that, so it's going to have like automatic templates here, but you can go in and say, actually, no, I want it to be more, standard or aggressive in the January season. So you have the option to do that if you find that makes sense for your site. And then you even have things to do by like time of day. So down here we have hot and cold boosts. We've actually analyzed like our web traffic and rentals and decided that during certain times of the week, we're finding more traffic to the website, more rentals, and vice versa. We're finding lower traffic during some times. So we're boosting the rates 10% up during the high traffic times and down 10% during low traffic times. And this is something you can either turn on, off. You could just do hot or cold, or you can do manual boost and set up how much you'd like to see it push and what time of the week you would like to see that push that way. And then you have college settings. So if you're in a college market, you can activate this, designate what units it applies to. It'll start and end. You don't have to go in and turn it on and turn it off. And this is going to decrease the specials that you're offering and then increase the rates because we know we have high demand during that time. And we're starting to kind of think about developing, the opposite. If you're in a type of market where you're seeing a demand for high, larger units during a certain time of the year. So more options are coming with that as well. Another option that you can enable for your customer facing rates in Revenue Pro is going to be competitor pricing strategies. This feature will automatically adjust your advertised rates based on selected competitor pricing strategies to ensure pricing stays competitive and aligned with market conditions, without requiring the manual intervention. By using daily pricing data from StoreTrack, NOAA will continuously evaluate competitor rates and update advertised pricing to either remain below competitors with the low price leader or above the competitors as king of the hill. So for example, if you're the low price leader, you make the adjustment here. You want to be $2 less than your competitors or switch to percentage. You can do it by size matching. You do exact sizes only or a range. You can select what competitors NOAA is going to analyze for you, and it'll populate all of your competitors from StoreTrack that are nearby. You can just do one. You can do multiple if you'd like, or you can do it by radius. So say you only want to do a 1, 2, or 3 mile radius. You can set that up there. And you can have this either affect all of the units on your property or just particular unit classes. And it gives you, your total unit counts, total available, and rentable occupancy. So you can quickly see, make a choice here of which units you want to target with the low price leader king of the hill option.
Got a couple minutes, Camille.
Okay. I promise I only have like 4 more slides left. This is just an example of a report of daily competitor rate monitoring. So up here you have like your rates highlighted, and then it shows all of your competitors on all the lines below. So you have access to this report with Revenue Pro. And then similar to the push rates, you have dynamic specials. Your specials will also increase or decrease based on real-time changes in rentable occupancy in each unit class. So if the occupancy in a particular unit class and size increases because units are getting rented, your web rates will go up in real time and your specials decrease in real time, not hours later or when you approve that change. Similarly, if you have units vacate and come available, the occupancy decreases, the rates decrease, and your special will increase to attract a customer to rent units and push that inventory. And the specials that are offered are all customizable, and there's quick templates that you can choose from on this as well.
Impressive.
Yeah. Now this is actually my favorite part. So this goes to the next one, which is rental rate increase management. So your current tenant rates. So you can set up all of your standard settings, but you have further criteria to analyze specific types of units, tenants, I should say. So if a tenant is on auto pay, you can designate how you want that to be treated. So let's say your standard increase is 10%. Tenants on auto pay typically don't vacate immediately with a rental rate increase. Maybe you want to be a little higher on those. So you can increase that change say 5% here, and it'll make it 15%. You can increase the frequency of those rental rate increases just for auto pay tenants. You have further options for, occupancy, the value rate of a unit. If a tenant lives more than a certain amount of miles away, that typically they don't vacate right when they get a rental rate increase. Maybe you want to be more aggressive with those. If they live closer, maybe you want to be a little nicer to them because those are the ones that will vacate when they get a rental rate increase. Got military, commercial account. Down below, you have a rate stepper option. So this works for a facility that, maybe was in the fill-up mode. They were giving out super low prices, and now they're starting to realize, I want to get people closer to that standard rate, but how do I do it? For example, here, when a tenant's rate is more than 30% below the standard rate, their initial increase is going to be accelerated 60 days, and it's going to be applied at a plus 20%. So if the standard scheduled increase is at 10% for the site, these tenants would receive a 30% increase, and it would occur 60 days earlier than a standard tenant. And then once the tenant falls between 15 and 29% below the standard rate, their second increase is still accelerated by 30 days, and then still applied at a 10 plus 10%. So now a 20% increase. And then once they're no longer falling within that variance range, they revert back to the standard increase settings. And you also have triggered automated alerts. So you'll designate who you want these to come to. It'll come by email. You can also log into NOAA at any time and see triggered alerts. So it's going to scrub your facility management software, look for anomalies, and send you alerts for various changes and trends and areas like occupancy, revenue, delinquency, auction. If you have a tenant that is over 90 days past due and not scheduled for auction, somebody hasn't had a rental rate increase in over a year, and some more down here about, if you need to change your push rate settings. You can also change these amounts. So say you don't want to be alerted unless it's 100 days past due, or you want to be alerted at 200, days if no increase. You can change that all within Revenue Pro as well. And all of the options I've shown you so far actually come from the advanced setup, but we do also have a guided setup that you can use. All you do is simply tell us a little bit about your market, whether it's standard, competitive, highly competitive, or controlled, what your occupancy performance is, revenue performance, what's your store status, do you have any of these extras? And you just click one button, and it will give you recommendations for automated templates for your push rates, specials, and existing tenant rates, increases, settings, based on your answers, plus some additional optional feature recommendations to start with. This essentially gives you guidance from our years of revenue management experience right at your fingertips. Also with Revenue Pro, you have an account specialist to help you with onboarding, understanding the program in full, and they'll be frequently checking in to go over your performance dashboards and make sure it's working for you. This person is a revenue management specialist that you'll have access to collaborate with on best practices and setups. And with the combination of how automated Revenue Pro is and the personal relationship you have with that specialist, it's going to save you a lot of time and money versus hiring a full-time revenue management specialist or spending a lot of time yourself tinkering around in your management software, guessing at what works, and then making constant adjustments. And if you'd like to learn more, you can scan this QR code, you can visit our website, or feel free to reach out to me, Camille@packedplanet.com. Since we realize that Revenue Pro is new, we're offering some really great sign-up specials. So now's a really good time to try out Revenue Pro if you're interested. And that's that.
That's great. Well, thank you. That's robust. Holy crap. I was going to say, I hope you offer like a guided help setup, and you already did, so good. Because that thing does a lot.
Yeah.
And I may have missed this because I was troubleshooting trying to send people the right link. What softwares is it compatible with?
SiteLink and Storage right now. So maybe one day we'll work with other facility management softwares, but those are the ones we do right now.
Gotcha. Well, you start with the biggest players first and go down, so that makes sense.
Exactly. Yep. And that's what we internally in our management, use. So it worked out.
Can you disclose pricing at all, or is that more for the calls?
It depends. So you'll just have to contact me because it depends on like the size of your site portfolio and yeah, exactly. So it can kind of range a little bit, but it's a lot more affordable than some of the other players out there. I can say that this is geared towards some of the smaller operators that they can't afford Veritech, for example.
Well, if you do what it's supposed to be doing, you make your money back. That's the whole point. It's making you money. So this is cool. We always talk about revenue management and how to do it, and there's got to be more tools like this to actually implement that kind of stuff. Because if you're not doing that, we're all scraping for rentals. So now we got to look at the revenue for our existing customers. So that's perfect.
Yeah. And we created this because we realized like revenue management, even this presentation, you said it seems like a lot. Like revenue management in general is complex. So, we try to make it easy and have all these setups at your fingertips.
That's great. You can stop sharing there and go and put it
Okay.
in chat too.
Okay.
Your information as well.
Sure.
That's great. So, did you guys get
Yep.
value out of that? Again, I'm trying to bring people on that we talk about revenue management and things like that. Well, cool. There's your tool that can help you with that kind of stuff.
Well, Jim, the one reason I wanted Camille to do that was
Yeah.
we've all talked to one operate one store, two store, three stores that can't afford, like Camille said, the bigger players. They can't afford to go to a Veritech or a ProRiser, and they don't have the bandwidth all to do it themselves. So having another product that's geared towards, I don't want to say the smaller operators, but maybe the smaller operators is another option for us to do things with.
Agreed.
Yeah. That's smaller operators. That's my bread and butter. That's how I make a living. So, yeah, we got to focus on those guys. Hey, we're back up to in the 80s. I got to apologize. So, sorry, I sent the email blast. That's why we went from 50 to 80 here during Camille's presentation. Sorry, somehow the link got messed up. I have no idea. Some gremlin got in my email and changed the link.
I've gotten a few texts too. I'm like, go back to the old, go back to the old, go back to the
Yeah.
old.
Well, thank God you record these so they can always go back later.
Oh, yeah.
And replay.
And that brings me to something I should say. If you go to storagemeetup.com, you'll see the replays are there. It's on YouTube. It's on LinkedIn. So replays are always up, generally within 24 hours, frankly. So it's always there. And I've been doing, I don't know if anyone noticed, last week we were doing AI demos and things like that. If you go to my LinkedIn profile, I was demoing the Notebook LM kind of a thing, where you take the URL from YouTube and throw it in Notebook LM, and it makes all these cool assets. So from our meeting last week, I made a nice cool infographic, a little slideshow, a synopsis video that was like 6 minutes long. It's really fun. It's got me thinking, and Gabriel, you'll probably back me up on this one for this kind of stuff. Like internal meetings or after you're talking with a client or things like that. And you can throw those recordings in there and make these cool assets to stand out and have a little impact of after you have these kind of meetings. There's a ton of different use cases. So if you missed last week, go watch the replay. It's really cool.
Jim, I've been doing it with Zoom when I've had my calls with my customers. I'll let Zoom record it, and Zoom gives me a really good recap of the call and pinpoints who's going to do what in the call. So it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than scratching down notes and doing it and sending something out later you're going to forget.
Yep. No, I just did it with a potential client. We'll see what happens. Potential client. We talked, and I just threw the meeting notes into Notebook LM, made a cool infographic, and sent it back to him. Just been like really excited to move forward.
Is it free?
But just another way to stand out. Yeah. Totally free.
We use Otter, which is pretty good.
Well, this is different. I mean, Notebook LM doesn't transcribe your notes. You're feeding it your notes, so you still have to be able to record your notes somehow. Okay. So Otter's awesome. Otter's great. They all do it now, though. Otter and Zoom and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I threw it in chat. I figured, 2026, everyone has this is our year, kind of a fresh thing. So it's a good time to, ask these questions. And I always look at, I put in there, how can you earn 3 more rentals a month? Stole it from Jimbo. Sorry. I know that's your phrase, but it works. It's a number we can all wrap our mind around. It doesn't seem like it's too crazy. It's not, an unreachable number. I always look at, in my 1 mile radius, I got 10, 12 competitors. If I could just get half a rental from each of those, 1 rental a month from a handful of those that would otherwise go to my competitors. If I do something a little bit better, that 1% improvement we talk about, actually implement it, not just talk about it, can I skim some of those rentals that are going somewhere else and bring it to our facilities? So that's kind of been my focus this week, is just look at all the different ways of improving. And, I put in the chat,
Jim, I can tell you,
Google
I work
business
with a client.
profile, so it's what I'm focusing on. So, go ahead.
I just worked with a client in the last couple months, and They didn't have call center. I don't know if Shannon's on here or not, or Katie from XPS is on here, but I got them convinced and they signed up with XPS. And I had a call with them last week. They got rentals from the leads that the call center captured for them that they followed up with. So by them logging the leads in the software, they weren't even using the lead to lease and site link. By logging the leads in and actually calling people back and following up with them, they increased their leads, the rentals already.
Well,
By
that's
just
the
doing
thing,
that.
right? People don't shop for storage for fun. They actually need a unit. Like that's why they're calling. So if you call them back, you're going to close them.
That's right.
That's Katie. That's why I sent him your way and Shannon your way, because
Yeah.
they and actually he called me this week, said, "Hey, now that my managers aren't busy with X, what can we focus on now to get them more in tune?" So now we're talking about a few more marketing ideas from Eve or Corey's on there. Some marketing ideas around the area. But now that they know that they're focusing on actually logging the leads in and calling them back, Randy, we had that conversation in Michigan last year. Imagine what happens when you call somebody back.
Right. Jim, that's the thing. It scares me to death when I talk with people and they say, "Oh, I don't need any help because we're closing 99% of our leads." And I'm like,
Bullshit.
no,
Well, they
you're
are
not. You're not
because
Because
capturing
they're
only,
logging
leads is
3
what you're
leads.
doing.
they only put the
Yeah.
one in the system that somebody's going to rent. So they're
Correct.
100%.
Correct. So when I hear that, I'm like, that is, you understand, you just gave me the biggest red flag that tells me operationally, you don't have any idea how many leads you have. Randy, back me up. Come on, man.
So, question for
Well,
you,
I
Shannon.
do. The only ones that end up in the computer are the ones that rent. So
Yes.
they have a 100% close ratio. You
Yep.
could walk in and hire a shopper and they never show up in the computer.
Well, I think now with the whole AI thing, and Shannon, I'm going to ask you guys.
Yep.
Now that more people are using the AI stuff to get the calls, taking some of the easier questions out of the way.
Yep.
By the time the person gets on the phone to an agent,
Yeah.
you got a better chance, and you have a better quality call and better chance of closing them. And
Yeah.
have you guys seen more? I mean, I know you guys have done well, with your internal rental program and all that. You've seen an increase on that product, just getting better quality calls in there. So
Yeah,
by using the AI
every
in the
single step
chats,
is, yeah. It's incremental. Every new phase just makes it that much better. So the closing percentage, and we measure it in different areas, right? There's what we would call a first call conversion, meaning we picked up the phone, it's the first time we've ever heard of you, and we actually created a rental right there on the call. And then there's the second step, which means we created a lead or a reservation. And then there was a follow-up that created a rental, right? So that's another incremental. And now we are actually going to be implementing our own internal outbound follow-up program. So if we have clients who don't have the time or don't have the personnel to be able to make those outbound follow-up calls, we can do that portion for them as well, which would be then a kind of a third set. So it's incremental for sure.
And when it comes to the follow-ups, any kind of standard best practices, like is it a next day a text, next day is a phone call? I mean, any kind of a workflow?
Better do it sooner than that for a lot of them.
Yeah.
However, one of the things, and then this is something that we are working really diligently on behind the scenes. I think this is one of the things that this kind of a call is really good for, because this isn't maybe the kind of thing that we would talk about in a sales presentation, right? But behind the scenes, just so you all know how this works, it is foolish to spend your time reaching out to someone who says, "I'm calling for pricing because I'm going to be moving my mother into assisted living on February 15th. If you reach out to them tomorrow or this afternoon, that is a wasted call. It is a wasted text. It is noise, and it's just not valid. So what we are doing behind the scenes is spending a lot of time building out that outbound process to make sure that it is paying attention to what the actual need of that caller was, in addition to the, "Hey, if you rent this today, I can give it to you for 50% off" portion. So
Shannon, I might argue with you a little bit. I
I know
call
you
back
do, Jim.
tomorrow morning and say, "Hey, thank you for calling us. We're glad you reached out. I have you down for needing something in the middle of February. I will
Yep.
touch base closer then, but thank you for calling us and put the seed back in their head that we knew what they wanted. We
Right.
acknowledge it and we responded to that. And by thanking them, we're now maybe the top of the list.
Yes, if that is an automated message, I 100% agree, Jim. I don't think you want to pay somebody to pick up the phone and make that call.
No, but you should call on the 10th of February and say, hey,
Correct. I'm
you
saying
called
call
me
at the end
last
of
month
January, get the whole
Yeah.
month.
A
keep
week
them
before.
out of the sales process. Keep them from calling somebody else.
Yep.
And
Randy,
say, hey,
that's-
my name's Randy with National Storage. You called us last month. I'm just following up. You said your mother, and you got to write something down
Notes.
about them, right? You said you're
It's got to
moving
be
your
a
mom.
lead.
You said you're moving your mom into assisted living. How is that going? Can I go ahead and set up your storage unit now? And you got to write down something about the call. You can't just say, hey, you called me last month and I'm calling to follow up. Calls have to have a purpose.
Randy, that leads to the next one. I get asked a lot doing the consulting. I'm sure, Jim, you do too. How many times do you follow up something before you cancel it? I said, my answer is always depends. Depends on when they need it. If you need it in the middle of February and I call you 3 times now, you're not going to bother with me. But if
I
I
will
call you
say-
closer to when you need it, that's why I don't say, okay, call 3 times and hang up.
Right.
There is something to be said if they're calling 3 to 5 of your competitors, too, and then you call them maybe like an hour or so later, it puts you fresher in their head. If you were the first one they called, the next ones they called, they're forgetting about you. Now they've found someone they like better. You call again and you try to overcome whatever objection that has them in their mind that in February, I'm choosing this guy. You now have the opportunity to say, oh, wait, that guy, I can match that price or whatever you need to do there.
Mm-hmm.
My take.
Can I offer a
I
quick 2
agree.
cents? When I used to make those calls, I would say, hey, I know you're going to call somebody else. Make me the last call because I want your business.
Yeah.
Good point.
Because I mean, they're going to go, oh, he told me to call him back. You call me, you go look around if that's what you're going to do because that's what people do, and it's like a pattern interrupt. You know they're going to go do it, so you tell them they're going to go do it, and make sure they call you when they're ready.
Well, the other thing is, Brian, making sure that your managers know, or you guys know, or even your call center knows your competitors. Because I was just talking to a guy yesterday because I don't want my manager to do mystery shopping, price shopping anymore. I said, no, your managers need on a regular basis to know what your competitors are offering because that way you know what they have. Whether, like, my son actually called me yesterday. He works for me. Well, worked for me, now works for KO. He said, Dad, you'll never believe this. There's a 18-wheeler trying to get into this property back to the 500 buildings where they can't get to.
Mhm.
Then he goes, then they brought in another truck to offload it with a forklift, but it's a portable unit, so they can't get into the unit. Now they're all mad. And I'm like, okay, but knowing what your competitors have to offer and how you beat your competitors, whether you're a full climate control building or all drive up, you can sell your advantages, but knowing what your competitor has to offer and how you beat that and how you match that and what you can do for them, it's huge.
Even when you know that, you not only do you know their pricing, but you know the personality. And let's say that Jim is a constant pain in the ass. I'm going to say, you know what? Go see Jim because I
Which
know for
one?
sure they're going to come
Yeah, you
back to
gotta
me because
specify
he's
which
not
ones.
going to deliver.
Hold on. Which one's a pain in the ass? Make sure you
Both.
clarify.
50-50. I'll let you guys share because you always do each other's comments. So I'll let you share 50-50.
All right, fine. I cut you off though. What were you saying?
No, just you know the personality of the person you're sending them to. Send them to that worst person. Say you should go check out this other place, and you know they're going to deliver bad customer service because they always do, whatever it is. And they're going to have such a bad experience. They're going to go, hey, I got to go call Brian back, or go call Jim back, or whatever. It's like
Unless
the reverse
they're
psychology.
mad at you for giving them someone crappy. So that's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Hey, Leanna, are you on? I know you commented a little while ago. Are you still on? Wanted to ask you about your social media strategy.
Oh, that's a good one.
I,
There's a lot of good comments in the chat, Jim.
well, yeah, that's why I wanted to bring Leanna up. If you hear me, if you're willing to come on, please. This is something I've been very outspoken about it. I've never been able to crack the social media thing to be able to get rentals.
Some people are really good at it.
Who? I want to talk to you. Like, what are you doing? How are you doing it?
Is anybody using that neighborhood app for marketing? Because there's what's the app called? Next Door, something like that. I had somebody else on here one day said they do very well with that Next Door app thing for the community app. Heather, you just raised your hand. What do you got?
Hi, yeah, we're starting with the neighborhood app, definitely Facebook, but I'm also thinking of doing like a YouTube channel Just a little, you're just hitting all of the social media. We're going to have an Instagram and the YouTube channel. I'm trying to like figure out little maybe storage tips, or I don't know. I'm trying to figure out a bunch of things because, it's all free. Might as well just hit it. But the neighborhood app is really, or next door is really great.
Now, do you find it works in better markets? Because one person said that it worked well in their market, but somebody said it didn't. I mean, is it more on how popular it is in that general area, or is it work better in smaller towns than bigger towns, or what? Any thoughts?
That's a good question. We're just starting it. It was just like this whole January, like you were saying, this new move out. I think that it's probably better. I'm now in Reno. I used to be in New York City. I think that Reno,
wow. That's a big change.
Yeah, I'm from Reno. I had to move back home during COVID, but I think that it's easier in a smaller place. I do because our owners are known. I mean, it's a small town when you get to it. We're third generation people, so that helps us because we have name recognition. So yeah.
Hey, Jim, my kids have a Nextdoor account and they use it to sell our eggs that we have from our chickens. And we'll have folks come out of San Antonio, over a mile away or over an hour away to come pick up eggs that they're slinging on that Nextdoor app. So it can be used in larger cities and in smaller ones. It's just finding those groups that really tie into it.
Cool.
James, I'm
Jess
just jealous
Johnson,
that
you
your
put a
chickens
comment on
are
here.
laying eggs in the winter.
Yeah.
What were we saying, Jim?
Hot Mess Jess put a comment on here about social media. You want to chime in, Jess, and say what you're going to say?
Yeah, I mean, I work a lot with social, and statistically, social, when we look at conversions, is pretty low from a percentage, right? Usually like less than 3%. So here's what I'll say. I go into it intentionally, post consistently, because it is important. It feeds Google, right? It's going to help you with ranking for that reason. So I wouldn't ignore it. Please don't put up a social media page and post once every 6, once every 9 months. The consumer is going to go to your page and think you're not an active business. You really have to be careful with the way you use social. I believe in self-storage. It's not like the highest attractor of conversions, but it is relevant, and I believe that you can use it. I see people asking about influencers. My good friend Melissa Stiles, she's the CMO of Storage Asset Management. Now, keep in mind, they're a huge brand. They manage like 600 locations. They did hire a social media influencer. They gave that social media influencer a code so they could track back, the velocity of that ad and what it did. And I think it was like a home restoration person. So she tracked, kind of like what she does for work, how she needs to, store stuff in the middle of like the restorations. But my suggestion for finding an influencer is find a local real estate agent that is high profile, meaning high profile has a good social media following. They are talking to movers every day. Make sure that their content aligns with what you want your brand to resonate. Because some people, it might just not be a fit, but if you could find a local realtor, let them store their yard signs or something at your facility for free. If they do some free social media marketing for you, that's my suggestion on finding one without having to pay for one. There are platforms where you can go try to find people to pay, but I think you can do it more organically and do it in kind and trade services with that realtor.
A lot of good. And again, it's Jess. I think you said it right. People put up Facebook pages and post once every 6 months. If you're going to have them, make sure they're active and relevant. Make sure they also. I've seen them where the brand message or the coloring logos don't even match the company itself. So make sure that. And for the love of God, I mean, I know I'm the horrible speller. Thank God for spell check. Make sure you proof what you're posting online because people can't spell.
That is true. Hey, Alana, I saw your comment that you had a client that's been using Nextdoor with some success. See if you can put me in touch with them. I'd love to have them see if they could come on and just chat for 10 minutes.
Yeah, they do really, really well. They have a drop off for everything. Before school, it's school supplies. Before holidays, it's food. They even do, I think it's March, they do a blanket drop off to get ready for the dogs, for the dog shelters. They do a lot of like engaging our community and bringing them to their storage facility. Oddly enough, they've been there a very long time. They added feather tags probably 4 years ago. It was the first time I saw them. And I've lived in this neighborhood for 20 years and I work in
Oh.
storage. So
Huh.
that was sad. But next door, they get so much business out of there. They were probably at 70% occupancy and they're probably closer into the 90s now. Our entire neighborhood knows them.
Well, I was going to say blankets in Arizona don't mean a whole lot, do they? I mean, it's always
Well,
hot
our
out there.
dogs like them.
It's 42 degrees here right now. What are you talking about, Mooney? We're freezing.
Yeah,
42 is a warm spell where we're at. We're outside barbecuing and got our grills going in 42-degree weather.
See, I told you,
42 degrees. I feel like singing that song. We're having a heat wave.
as I told you, Jim, Melissa and I are heading to Banff in a couple weeks. We're gonna freeze our butts off. I may need all the blankets.
But yeah, have her reach out or them reach out.
Yeah,
to
I'll
you.
have them reach out. They're pretty I think they have 20 facilities here in Arizona.
Oh, geez.
So,
Great.
and they do a lot of grassroots marketing for being a larger, a decent size operator. They do a lot of grassroots marketing.
Well, that feeds into exactly what I was just asking about. How can we skim off a few extra rentals from competitors into our facility? There you go. We always talk about. I was just gonna say we always talk about, be part of the community, but then that's about it. Like I want to hear some strategies and what people are actually doing for that. So that'd be perfect.
I was going to say Stacey Maxwell here because she's the queen of marketing, but she's not here. So we'll have to get Stacey on one day to talk about that. Her grassroots. I mean, I know it's not her world right now, but she's the queen of marketing. So
yeah, I love strategies like that. That's. I mean, you got to work for it, frankly. But I mean, you know the value of a rental. You put that on there. Okay, it's worth a little extra thinking outside the box with that kind of stuff to start getting those rentals. So I'd love to talk to her.
that might be another topic, Jim, because how many people actually know the value of a rental right now? Because I did one with a guy, and through 3 stores, I said, "What's your average length of stay?" He said, "Oh, 9 to 11 months." He was literally almost 3 years, and he didn't know the value of a rental. And when your phone rings and it's instead of saying, "Oh, it's a rental," I missed a call. I missed $3,000 in value of our customer. It's a big difference.
Oh, totally. It affects all what we keep talking about for marketing, and it just affects all your other decisions of, how much you can spend to acquire a customer. Once you have that number, cool. A lot of your decisions become a lot easier when it comes to if you're paying for that, for your Google AdWords, square foots of the world, that kind of stuff. Oh, yeah, Shannon, not answering the phone. It's a $4,000 decision. Yep. But yeah, especially when you know those kind of numbers, then you can see the value of a lost phone call. That's what makes you throw up in your mouth when you hear that. What else? I don't want to just focus on that. Anybody have any other questions, comments? You can bring that. We got about 15 minutes, by the way. So,
anybody trying something new for 2026? Anybody new discounts, new promos, new anything new for 26? Because I talked to somebody yesterday that was at the New York conference, and they said the message from the REITs is pricing strategies for the REITs are not changing in 26. So we're probably going to still see a lot of, low ball rates coming at and high rate increases going down.
Those pricing strategies are never going to change. The genie's out of the bottle on that. They know it works. It ain't changing.
Problem isn't. Oh wait, who just said $5 off rentals if you sign up for Derek? $5 off rental for auto pay is, I would say, a bad idea because they're going to sign up for auto pay once and then it's going to fail and you're going to be chasing them every month and you've already given them a discount. I don't give a discount for anybody to sign up for auto pay. Yeah. Randy, you're shaking your head. You got to have a comment.
Yeah, it's not a great idea. I've been having some of my clients say that during this slowdown for them the last couple of months that they've been offering that as an incentive, and I do not know why that is a thing. I wish people would stop doing that. I feel like, and I won't speak for everybody, but I feel like that incentivizes the wrong thing. Jim, I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Might as well take a stack of $5 bills and hand them out to the people when they walk in your door.
Yeah.
Same
The
difference.
discount is that they don't get a late fee. That's the discount.
Yep.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I can tell you guys last year, well before my stores transitioned away, we actually added it to our lease and we put it in, and everywhere we did, that if I gave you a 50% off 2 months or 3 months or whatever discount you got, and you didn't pay your bill on time, you lost your discount for that month. And we would go back and add it on. We built it into the SiteLink software, and we did it.
That is good.
And now again, we only had 30 stores, but every month I'm adding about $1,000 back to my books because people couldn't pay their bill on time.
Yeah.
I just
And I look at auto pay like this, Jim. I am a grown human. I pay my bills on time. So if I do something, I'm just gonna be honest, I want auto pay. I do not want to have to worry about all that. So if you gave me a $5 discount, I would be like, great, thank you for the $5 discount. It was not my decision maker by any stretch.
Yeah.
But I'll take that $5. And
I just changed all of my rental agreements and all of my website stuff that if you pay with a credit card, we will charge that every month. So you have to opt out of auto pay rather than opt in. Just turn it around backwards. Everybody's out there opting into auto pay, and you have to opt out
Yeah, same thing.
backwards.
Anybody else tried that strategy where they don't pay on time, they lose their discount? Or was it just me?
The REITs were trying to do that.
looks like Randy was nodding.
Yeah.
Is anybody passing
If you
along?
don't pay, you lose it.
Yeah.
Anybody passing along the fee for credit card transactions? I see that a lot more.
You know,
That's questionably allowable based on your processing agreement. So I would caution against that unless it's really transparent and you've talked through it with your credit card processor.
And talking to Scott and Joe Doherty from SSA, certain states you can, and certain states are a big no-no. So
yeah, I had a whole chart when I worked for a REIT. It's a lot more complicated than you think it is.
Yeah.
Now you can charge a convenience fee or a technology fee and not have that be a credit card fee. But once you call it a credit card surcharge, it's governed by credit card processor merchant agreements and not, regular storage stuff.
I'm just putting myself in the customer's seat. If I saw something like that saying I'm paying extra for the credit card, I'm even mad. Just for principle
I'd
alone,
like to
I'd be
take
like,
a poll of how many people here hate that when you see something that says you're going to get charged a fee for using. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
So we know nobody likes that.
That's how you do business now. It's not,
It's a cost of doing business, you know?
Camille, I was just in Disney with the family before vacation, right? And because there were 6 of us, every place we went for dinner, they automatically added a 16 or 18% gratuity to the bill. And I said every night to the waitress, I said, you just lost money because I probably tip more than 18% anyway, but I'm not going to add something on top of what you're already doing to me.
Exactly. When you're forcing it on me, nobody likes to be forced with it.
Well, I got pizza place here around the corner from me. If you go in and pay cash, they give you a discount. So when I go there now, I make sure I have cash in my pocket.
Yeah, David Kempa, you on?
Yes, I'm on.
Yeah, jump on over here. I was just reading your comment. Say out loud what you're typing there in the chat.
Which one? I've been
Using
firing off on
ChatGPT to talk about revenue management ideas.
Yeah, I've just been kind of experimenting, and I've been using it as a sounding board, more to just brainstorm. So I was just curious if anybody else is using that. I'm kind of trying to, I guess, maybe do a refresh in the new year. Think if I could, do anything to generate more rentals, do anything that's out of the norm, and seeing if ChatGPT had any ideas for me. And sometimes it comes back with an answer. I'm like, oh, that's kind of clever. And then other times I've actually said to it, like, no, you're wrong there. Like, look at this again. So, and when I have to do that, and specifically with like statistics and it really makes me question the validity of some of the answers it's giving me. So,
But just
and
the
I've heard
fact
it's
of
all
go-
about the prompts that you put in.
It's not about the promise, but just the fact of going through that exercise, I find you get a lot of value just out of the conversation. And just the fact that you're having those conversations of what can I do for revenue management? What can I do to think out the box to get extra rentals, and having that conversation with it. Even if 90% of it's crap, you might get 10% nuggets of being like, I'm gonna try that. That's awesome.
Here's my next
Yeah.
question, David, is I use that chat GPT for a lot of things. I have noticed a huge difference. You have to pay for it. If you don't, if you're just doing the free version, it's completely different than if you subscribe and pay for it.
Right.
Like literally night and day. And I've noticed that I do a lot on LinkedIn. I post a lot on there. And I put stuff through Chat GPT, but then I go in there and I make it my own and whatnot. But I have noticed night and day difference between the free version and the paid version. And the more you use it for the paid version, when you have the paid version and the more you use it, it will start to get to know you and how you speak and your brand and your company and all of that. It's well worth its weight in gold to me.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, question for you. Remember a couple weeks ago you did that search? You actually did a search on here where you searched for a storage unit by your house and you were asking all the questions, and it was one because it had the reviews. How many people in here have actually used ChatGPT or Claude or any of those guys to search for a storage unit in your area? But when you did that, I was going back and interesting and kind of really resonated home a point to people that go. And I know I talk a lot about reviews, but if you don't have the relevant reviews, and that was the one question you asked it, why did you pick these ones? And it said because you had recent relevant reviews. Has anybody on here actually used ChatGPT or one of the AIs to search for storage in your own market to see if you showed up?
Yeah, I've done that.
Except for all my clients. So I benchmark where they're showing up, what the results are for the different AI agents that are out there. So I saw someone say Perplexity, ChatGPT, any of those, Claude, any of them. I go and I benchmark and I see what we're showing up for and what those results are, what pages are showing up, and then I do it probably once or twice every quarter is what I've been doing.
How eye-opening is it for you?
It's huge. It's huge. Because it really shows where people, well, one, it shows how people are changing the way that they're searching completely. So it shows how you're showing up to that demographic of people who are searching in that way. And then two, it shows how quickly you can grow your traffic again from different agents, because I started to see traffic coming in from those agents and actually getting rentals from those agents very quickly. So the biggest thing is that when you start tracking it, is your conversion rate from a chat agent to your website is a much higher chance of conversion. That was the most eye-opening thing for me.
I would say the chat agent basically says, here you go. I mean, it's serving you who to contact.
Yeah.
It's like giving you a whole list.
And just to touch base on how correct any of those chat agents are, they're all completely wrong all the time. If you go to Chat GPT and ask it how many R's are in strawberry, it will adamantly tell you that there are only 2 R's in strawberry. And you cannot correct it. It will never tell you that there are more than 2 R's. I even had it spell out strawberry with all of the R's capitalized and then tell me how many R's were capitalized. It said 3, and then it said, thank you for trying to trick me. There's only 2 R's though. So everyone go try that. It's the most frustrating experience I've ever had with a chat bot.
Okay, so
Eva, to get it to recognize 3 R's.
Eva, for you as a marketing person, ChatGPT, Claude, Perplexity, which one are you using more?
I started off with chat, and I started off with all of my information in there. I created my own agent, so I just stick with it. But I use Perplexity because I saw the same thing with Perplexity has a lot more information in it. It pulls a lot more resources. It's just a lot faster as well. I love Perplexity, but it has a caveat. If you do paid for searches, anything that's best, cheapest, anything that comes up as a paid for search, they are a paid for AI platform. So you are not getting real best or real kind of in content informational responses. They're actually giving you responses from their paid for platform.
What's the other one? Gemini? Does anybody use Gemini?
There's so many now.
Would that be a fun? Again, when we have these kind of free flowing conversations. I'm writing tons of notes. Would that be a fun AI jam session come up? We can just kind of go through in real time, showing how to research your own facility, look at your competitors, kind of.
Can we do multiple screens and do the same search?
How the answers
That's what I was going to say. Let's compare. And another one I like to throw out there is Manus, MANUS. That one shows you where it's going. It'll show you its web browsing as it's going, which is kind of cool. So that's one I
heard of that one, Camille.
It's
Yeah, Manus, Manus.
I just wrote that down and never heard of that one.
I haven't
Yeah,
either.
it's cool. It'll show you the screens. It's like showing you the websites it's going to and walking you through exactly where it's coming up with the answers, which I think is pretty cool.
Whoever wants to play along with that to kind of help demo stuff, message me. Message me and I'll put that together.
What we should do is we should do like prompts that we send out to everybody when everyone has the exact same prompt, so that way we can check to see if everyone's agent responds the same way.
That's a good idea.
All right, I'm on 4 people. So 4 people message me. First 4, you're on it. So
I was gonna say, I think the counterpart in the Wisconsin district at the storage mall, Cody, just joined the call. I know that the last time he was traveling to his stores, he did a intensive AI search, and I'm not sure, Cody, if you have a moment to speak to that. I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, I just used the free version of ChatGPT and just kind of as a customer perspective, and just trying to see what showed up in a very small market town, one of our stores that we have out in the Michigan area, and just going back and forth with it. And I started to get a lot of incorrect information. And then I kind of revealed myself. I said, hey, I'm actually with this company. And where are you getting your information from? And kind of went back and forth with that version, and just kind of found out it was pulling from a lot of either aggregators or what they considered relevant places. So just kind of finding out more information on where certain versions, because then I went with a counterpart in my company within the last couple of days, and they're getting different results from different, either Gemini or Gronk or any of these other ones that are out there. So it really differs between, pretty seriously.
Well, Cody, and that goes to what Jennifer was saying before either, that there is also a pretty significant difference between the free versions and the paid versions, I think, when you find those. That being said, I have a paid version, and y'all probably heard me talk about, I call him Chad. Chad is he's my guy. And Chad lies to me, Jennifer, and I pay him money to be honest with me, and he lies.
Sure,
So
Chad's not a woman?
Mr.
Nice try, Jim. Nice try.
Mr. Mooney. Mr.
Come on.
Mooney.
Shannon, you teed that up so easily for me. I couldn't miss it.
I love it. Well, Chad is my chatter, and and the thing is that he sounds so confident, and he will give you, like, I can ask him a question I know the answer to, just to see where you get in your back, cite your sources, all the things, right? And he will just 90% of it will be great, and then there will be this one little thing in there that makes me kind of go, like a golden retriever. And then when I say, where did that bit of information come from? Chad will literally say, you got me, Shannon.
Really?
What do you mean you got me? Like,
that's crazy.
Don't say things that you don't know.
Hey, man, that hour went by fast, guys. I hope you got value out of this. This is fun. We never know quite where the conversations are going to lead. So this was great. We've got like 2 minutes left, so I got to wrap things up here.
I want to say thank you to Camille. Thank you, Camille, for doing your demo for us.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're saying it went by quick. So I'm like, good, I didn't bore you all. And you're like, God, this is dragging today. So thanks.
The ones that are boring are the ones that have no value. Like, no, as long as you're providing value, that's all that matters. So,
yeah.
no,
There's just so many things I find exciting with Revenue Pros. I'm like, I got to squeeze it in 15 minutes. So it was really hard. So if I went too fast, sorry.
I do that for a reason, frankly. It's
yeah,
like, you
totally understand.
Yeah, you got to put it together, and that way you're talking about the most important things. So I appreciate that.
There's more, trust me.
we will do this again next Friday. If you guys got value out of this, ask someone else. I have some new managers coming on here. Tell your fellow managers, get on these.
As long
things.
as you send the right links this time.
Shut up. Yeah, I know. I don't know what the crap happened. I'll figure that out. But I really appreciate
Tim
it,
Ross.
everybody.
Error is human.
It happens. We gotta do a selfie. We haven't done that for a few weeks, so turn your cameras on, please. If you're on here, cameras on. We'll take our selfie, and then I will see everybody next week. And we're gonna do a couple of these because we got enough people on here. All right, count of 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Sweet. All right. Again, I really appreciate it. Got to tell you one more time, it means a lot that you take a time out of your week to join these things. I know everyone's busy, especially this time of year, back in the new year and all that. So it means a lot. If you got value, tell somebody else to join us next time, and I will see everyone next week. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Take
Hey,
it
Jim,
easy.
did you see the note asking about replays just in case?